What's good? It's your boy Chris. Yes, I'm back with another video.
Terry did not go to Miami alone. Unbeknownst to Kayla, Terry had actually gone on the trip with his girlfriend Sakina. The trip was a
Oh no! No! Bro, moving like that.
She allegedly used a blunt object to stab Kayla until she was dead, and then Sakina viciously slit Kayla's throat from ear to ear, hinting the disturbed mind Sakina had. She reportedly went back to meet with Terry, and both flew right back to New York.
We have a nail stylist books a $400 air ticket just to go unalive her boyfriend's side chick. Hey, bro, she ain't playing about her, man. She ain't playing about her sausages. Hey, talking about, hit subscribe on her live boy more content this, man. Hop right into it.
The afternoon of July 13th, 2022, a nail stylist who was consumed by rage purchased a plane ticket from New York to Florida with the one goal of unaliving her boyfriend's side chick. She tracked the whereabouts of her boyfriend.
Hey, man, that man him a bunch of batty waddies, ragga-raggers.
And what came next was a deadly event that would end the life of an innocent woman. Hours later, at 3 p.m. of the same day, the Broward police would receive a horrifying 911 call that would lead them to the second floor of the Tamarack Village Apartments at Northwest 57th Street in Tamarack, Florida. And what they found was the gruesome crime scene. A lifeless 23-year-old Kayla Hodgson. Kayla Hodgson was a hard worker.
Dang. Brother said he had too many options. Why she, man, I'm a crazy one, man. But why you do that? Why you provoke that girl to go do that to that girl, bro? Why you do that, bro? Why you do that? Come on, bro.
Flight attendant and a bartender for special events, juggling the two jobs with grace. She was loved by everyone around her, whether it was family, colleagues, or people she was able to work with, as she was known as someone with a radiant personality that easily attracts people. I want to see what that girl who even after long hours of working with her two jobs, she remained vibrant, serving as the life of every party. At just 23, Kayla had big dreams of seeing the world and living life to its fullest. Just days before the tragedy happens for Kayla, during a trip to Miami, Kayla met someone that will change the course of her fate. She met a man named Terry Therigen. For Kayla, it was the start of something magical that might lead to a connection that was full of excitement and possibility. As Kayla thought, this might be the beginning of the kind of love that every woman dreams of, and so she fell. Kayla allowed herself to believe in the romance that Terry was able to give her, diving deeper on the rush of the new affection that could make anyone addicted to the feeling of love. But unbeknownst to Kayla, her relationship with this man would be the start of the chilling series of events that would unfold. Behind the charming words that give Kayla butterflies was a truth that was left unopened. Little did she know, Terry was hiding a terrible secret that would tie her to a sin that she never dreamed of being a part of. As it turns out, Terry was already in a serious relationship with another woman, and this secret would mean no connection to the fate that Kayla would suffer for so long. And so, while Kayla was falling for Terry, someone was already watching from a distance. The hidden girlfriend of the man she thought she could trust. Now, it is at this point that I want to introduce the woman that would change everything. This woman is Sakina Thompson. Sakina Thompson was a 28-year-old nail technician.
Hey, man, now I need to see what bro look like, because bro got some baddies. Bro got some baddies on the team. I gotta see what he doing.
From Long Island, New York. She was well known in her field of work, showing exceptional talent in doing nail jobs that were admired by her clients, allowing herself to build a good reputation. And outside her work, Sakina...
No, I gotta pause it again because, oh my God. So you telling me you had all this going and you still let that man get... You but really love, bruh. You had to love her for real. I know, yes, it was, but dang, you have motion, though. You have motion. Dang.
Sakina's personality has always shown that she was not someone to be messed around with. In social media, she does not hesitate in expressing her boldness in fighting. She often bragged that she can fight and she can put people testing her to place.
I'ma go buy me a gun, and I'ma come back here and set this motherfucker off.
Oh,
As admirable as it seemed,
y'all got to take hints like that. No.
this character of hers would eventually lead to a blind rage. Now remember that Sakina was in a serious relationship with Terry, and this intense relationship was bragged about in social media as well. Sakina would always post pictures of them together, from celebrating birthdays and lavish gifts to intimate moments. This is one of those videos Sakina shared on social media.
Yes, sir. Chanel. Hey, talking about, yeah. Talking about.
A picture-perfect depiction of a relationship. But those aren't all that Sakina shares on her social media platforms. Sakina never held back in sharing the downs of their relationship, and at the downtimes of it, the toxic nature of the both of them would also be shown in the videos that Sakina would post. As beautiful as what Sakina showed their love was, their relationship was nothing perfect. It was an intense love, but it was toxic. But no matter how toxic it got, they always got back together. And for Sakina, her man Terry is hers and hers alone. But no matter how much Sakina guarded Terry, something was already happening behind her back. This was when the fate of the two women, Sakina and Kayla, would cross, and unfortunately up to this point, Kayla does not know Sakina. Now, let us rewind quickly to the day that Kayla first met Terry during a trip to Miami. For Kayla, it was a fun adventure filled with excitement and new experiences. And so they continued with parties, drinks, and late-night adventures. She doesn't have any idea that that day of meeting Terry would change everything. There was one problem in meeting Terry that Kayla didn't know. Terry did not go to Miami alone. Unbeknownst to Kayla, Terry had actually gone on the trip with his girlfriend Sakina. The trip was a
Oh no! No! Bruh, moving like that! Ain't no way! Yo!
supposed vacation for the couple, but instead of the beautiful trip it should have been, Terry committed an act of betrayal to both women involved. And soon enough, the unsettling events started to unfold. At some point during this timeline, Sakina found out about the interactions that were happening between Terry and the unknowing Kayla. Right at that moment, something inside the nail technician snapped. She wasn't just angry, she was obsessed by the betrayal that was done by Terry. Being a strong-willed woman who will not take treason easily, Sakina couldn't let this whole ordeal slide. For her, Terry was hers, and no woman should ever stand between them. And ever since then, she has decided that Kayla should be erased from the picture. And so, the planning began. Sakina was not reckless in laying out the sinister plan she was building in her head. With that, fueled by rage and fury, she started tracking Terry. She did this by putting a GPS tracking device on the white Ranger Rover that her boyfriend was using. It gave Sakina everything information that she needed: Terry's location, routines, when he leaves, and the most important thing for her, the address of the woman that she believed was stealing the man that she loves the most. What happened next would leave the entire community of Tamarack to a devastating shock. On July 13th, 2022, Terry and Kayla were hanging out in her apartment on the second floor of the Tamarack Apartments village. They were having fun, without the knowledge of what would come next. As soon as Terry left the apartment building that afternoon.
Bro, my question is, how long was I in Miami for, bro? Good grief, bro. This happened fast.
Sequoia walked the hallways of Kayla's apartment to the room where she was staying. At first, the two women had a fight. In this viral video, you can see Sequoia holding a shoe and aiming at Kayla, who kept closing and opening the door. The attack did not end with this video. What Sequoia did next was horrible. At 3 p.m. of July 13, 2022, the Broward Sheriff's Office responded to a harrowing call that hinted at the crime scene that they will witness. The caller reported seeing an injured woman with a gash on her neck. The police immediately rushed to the crime scene, and what they witnessed was the horror at Kayla's apartment, the lifeless body of the young woman.
Breaking news this morning, large police presence in Tamarack today.
Law enforcement swarming an apartment complex. Local 10 Syra Onwar is live at that scene with more on what we know so far. Syra.
So there's been a big law enforcement and first response presence out here all morning. Tamarack Fire has left the scene, but it's here in the Tamarack Village apartment complex. But neighbors are also telling us that it could be those two-story units behind the complex. So these may not all be within this apartment complex, but we're trying to get more details on exactly what happened here. But there were several deputies out here this morning, as well as first responders. Let me take you to video from earlier this morning where you can see Tamarack Fire Rescue out here blocking all traffic, pedestrian traffic, cars. People couldn't access their own apartment units. They couldn't get home. No one really knows what's happening.
From the very beginning, it was clear that the death of Kayla was not a senseless act of violence. From the looks of the sheer brutality of her death, it was clear that this was personal. The injuries suggested an intentional act, but nobody knew who might have killed the young woman until what investigators discovered next emerged that changed everything.
You don't know if it's someone that lives here, or if it's someone that the person knew that lives outside, but yeah, it's definitely concerning.
BSO detectives are trying to figure out who killed this woman and why. Her family and friends identified her as Kayla Hodgson. She was only 23 years old, and her death, as you would expect, has shocked her neighbors.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Absolutely. We've been here 10 years and nothing like this has ever happened.
Never really have any crime, anything like this that I've ever heard or seen before. I live in an adjacent community, and me personally, I'm just trying to, I'm concerned of whether or not it was domestic violence or something that's random. Obviously, it's random, something to be concerned about.
Hodgson's family and friends told us they were still processing the tragedy and could not talk to us.
The investigation started with a few leads, but one notable part of the entire crime scene was the white Range Rover that was parked near the apartment.
Elisa, thanks. And now to a tragedy in Tamarack after a woman is found dead. 7's Samantha Sosa is there live with more on the investigation and what we know about the victim. Samantha.
The Broward County Sheriff's Office's mobile command center is still here on the scene as investigators continue processing evidence here. And now the Sheriff's Office is officially calling this a murder investigation. Detectives continue going in and out of a second-floor unit Thursday afternoon at the Tamarack Village Apartments along Commercial Boulevard. Investigators processing bags of evidence, including some found outside on the sidewalk. This command center here more than 20 hours after a deadly discovery. Crime scene tape surrounded the area. 7 Skyforce hovered above the investigation where detectives say the victim died under suspicious circumstances. A man also seen being transported by ambulance. Family and friends of the woman who died quickly showing up, some embracing while others anxiously waited for answers. Deputies focusing part of their investigation on this white Range Rover parked nearby.
The police tried to ask the public any information that could lead to the identification of its owner. But even with the responses the police got regarding who could have owned it, it would not come as close to the breakthrough that would change the direction of the case. And for weeks, people mourned Kayla's death and desperately wanted to know who was responsible. Meanwhile, the police had no suspects and no arrests were made until one crucial lead pointed them to someone who was already a flight out of the murder scene. Sakiena Thompson. Her name emerged as the prime suspect of Kayla's murder. At first, her connection between Sakiena and the crime seemed unclear. Sakiena did not have any previous convictions, no history of violence, thus she wasn't a career criminal. But it wasn't long until the police could piece together the timeline of events leading to the tragedy that fell on Kayla. It didn't take long until the police figured out how she tracked Terry with a tracking device on his vehicle, located Kayla's apartment, and waited until the perfect moment before she went up to Kayla and killed her. She allegedly used a blunt object to stab Kayla until she was dead, and then Sakina viciously slit Kayla's throat from ear to ear, ensuring that she will never be able to talk to Terry again. Just like that, Kayla's future was stolen from her. And what Sakina did right after committing the horrifying act made this case even more disturbing, hinting the disturbed mind Sakina had. She reportedly went back to meet with Terry and both flew right back to New York. And with the clues slowly coming together, the case was brought to a sharp focus. With that,
whoa, yeah, she diabolical. She said, I know what you did. Let's go back home.
Even after she fled the state of Florida, she was not able to escape the gruesome act of revenge she committed. And so, on July 25, 2022, just nearly 2 weeks after the harrowing crime was committed, the arrest warrant for Sakina Thompson was finally made. And on August 3, 2023, she was arrested without bond by the New York Police Department in Springfield Gardens, New York.
New York City, this after a young woman was killed last month inside her apartment in Tamarack. The Broward Sheriff's Office announced that the suspect, Sakina Thompson, is now in custody. CBS 4's Peter O'Dinch joins us live from the Tamarack Village complex with the very latest on this story. Peter.
Well, Naja, BSO says that the suspect was arrested in a neighborhood in Queens. That was 3 weeks after the homicide here. It's also where residents are relieved.
This means that she wouldn't be able to post bail for the charges against her. She would have to be detained until the legal proceedings are finalized. She was then brought back to Broward County, Florida to face the charge of first-degree murder. A grand jury indictment stated that Sakina acted with a depraved mind without regard for human life.
28-year-old Sakina Thompson, age 28, from Springfield, New York, was arrested by New York police officers. She's expected to be extradited to Broward County to face one count of first-degree murder. The Broward Sheriff's Office says that Sakina Thompson demonstrated a depraved mind without regard for human life by stabbing with a sharp object, which she intended to cause death to Kayla Hodgson. There's many details, there's much more information to be learned on why Kayla was murdered in this quiet area of Tamarack that left lots of family and friends shocked and just absolutely in disbelief. No one can just imagine why this would even happen.
But despite her arrest, a mystery lingers as the police never publicly disclosed the specific evidence that
What fake news was that? Well,
led to the arrest of Sakina.
On July 25th, a warrant was issued for 28-year-old Sakina Thompson. She was arrested on Wednesday in New York City.
Making an arrest makes me feel a lot more comfortable.
BSO is not saying what led them to their suspect, but an arrest affidavit says Sakina Thompson was demonstrating a depraved mind without regard for human life by stabbing with a sharp object with a premeditated intent to cause death.
I am very happy to hear about it because we were scared. We heard different stories from different people, and I happen to live on the floor above her, so I'm very happy. It makes me feel a lot better and more secure that they finally arrested somebody.
Be that as it may, the battle for justice would now come into perspective, but a shocking revelation was yet to come. Sakina Thompson was already pregnant on the day of her arrest. With that, she was forced to face the harsh reality of jail life. As this became public, questions arose. Would she be released, or would this pose an effect on her sentencing? In desperation, Sakina sent a letter to the judge overseeing her case, pleading for her freedom. Sakina was now afraid of the conditions that she and her unborn child would have to face behind bars. But the court was unmoved and denied her request. On February 17, 2023, Sakina gave birth while still incarcerated, and the custody of the child was given to Terry Thompson. As of now, the trial is still ongoing, and the court still hasn't released the final ruling for what fate Sakina Thompson should suffer as a punishment for ending a young woman's life tragically short. Meanwhile, as the legal proceedings and the investigations happened, Kayla's family, friends, and co-workers grieved for the sudden loss of a loving daughter, friend, and colleague. Many took to their social media to express their grief, with messages and comments from the public pouring in with sympathy and rage towards the perpetrator.
There are plenty of comments on her Instagram page. There are no words to describe the shock. This is real. Kayla is such a sweet person. Rest in peace. Would it be offensive if I asked how she died? Some guy cut or slashed her throat in her apartment. Too many toxic males out there. OMG.
Her loved ones, devastated by the unexpected death of Kayla, created a GoFundMe page to cover the funeral expenses, reflecting the burden left on the families of the victims of tragedies like what happened to Kayla. Sympathy and help flooded for Kayla's family, gathering over $15,000 that helped them in saving them from debt. But also, this money was raised, nothing could have saved them the pain of Kayla's death. To honor Kayla's life, her friends and family organized a balloon release as a tribute for her, symbolizing their love and mourning for her loss. But as they gathered and released the balloons, a haunting question still remains for them. Would justice still be served for Kayla?
Right to motherfucking farmer.
Video shared with NBC6 shows a candlelight vigil held in honor of 23-year-old Kayla Hodgson Thursday night in Hollywood.
She was just really sweet. She was the life of the party. She always had...
She says Hodgson was a
What you think about this?
Man, on some real mess, y'all. Male or female, y'all gotta quit crashing out, bro. Regardless, bro. She has so much going on for her, and she crashed out about that. I understand. It's a crash out moment. I completely understand that. I get it, but nah, we gotta think better. There's way more than you going for that girl, but knowing that your dude didn't say, like, you can't go for her this all because your dude is not trustworthy. Like, at the end of the day, that's how I feel about it. And I feel like you should let go. You really just threw your life away just because someone was untrustworthy to you, and that's crazy to me. If you press that to me, I feel like that's just dumb. But y'all feel me? RIP to the girl in the video. Dude in the video, bro. I mean, bro, you should just kept it a buck. And to the girl, but you should just keep your cool and just keep your emotion going. It's Bro Christian Reacts out.
And I need me to do. If I ain't get paid, I ain't doing the show. Shit, I'm finna.